recently saw this video by the YouTuber Sam Does Arts, where he was reviewing art tutorial TikToks. Art tutorials on TikTok. Is that, are they TikToks? Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good video. It was funny, and there was some good content in there where he explained what was good or what was bad about them. I don't know, I just thought it was a cool idea for a video. And I thought, I wonder if there is a way that I could do something like that without doing the exact same thing. And I thought, hey, what about lettering? Maybe there's some like lettering tutorials on TikTok that I don't know about. So I went in there, started watching some. There was some on there, a little bit of hit or miss. I picked some, we're gonna review them. And when I say we, I mean I'm gonna review them. I got my coffee here. Listen, I'm using a little straw, don't judge me. You know, recording my face a lot, feeling a little self-conscious about my teeth, drinking a lot of coffee. I don't wanna have coffee teeth. I'm trying to, okay, let's get into it.
Photography in Adobe Illustrator. First, you're going to draw your shape, and then you're going to use the knife bolt to cut across it to get the different sections that you would like for your text. I'm also going to trim the corners here of my heart because I don't like my letters to get too sharp. Then you're going to place your words behind the section that's super important.
Horrendous
then you're
music.
going to go to Object, Envelope, Distort, make the top object. Repeat this for all your different sections. Next, you're going to expand, and then here I like to go in and edit using the pencil tool any letters that I don't like how they formed when they were expanded.
Yeah.
Once I like what it looks like, I'm going to paste a copy in back, and I'm going to make it smaller by holding down on Shift and Option, as well as making it a darker shape. And I'm going to select both and go to Object, Blend Options, make a specified step blend with 50 steps, and OK. And then I'm going to Object, Blend, Make. I'm going to paste a lighter copy in front, and voila, you have the perfect typography. Follow for more.
Okay. Well, let's be clear. I don't want to call it perfect typography. It was a cool 3D effect. The issue with just using a filter to like warp a font to fit that shape is you don't have a lot of control, and it's just automatically doing it. And especially when you've got a word like good that has 2 O's and a D, and that D is gonna be forced into the butt crack of the heart, you're gonna get some butt type. Like that looks like G-O-O-O-O. This is the tricky thing. Like there's not like a shortcut for fitting lettering to a shape. Like, and this isn't lettering. I don't know why I'm calling it lettering. This is a font, and it was warped using a filter. The 3D effect was cool. It went a little fast. You were like 50 steps. There was a lot of stuff going on there. You talked about having to fix some of the letters. The problem is the things that were fixed were not the real issue. The D in good is completely gone. Most of the other letters are okay. When you're working with lettering and typography, one of the most important things to remember is that you have to focus on what makes each letter unique and different from other letters. And when you're warping shapes, you can push things quite a bit, but you need to make sure that you're not pushing it so it's getting rid of what makes it special. For example, the O and the D. The D is straight on one side and round on the other side. You could play around with curving that straight line, but you need to make it balanced by the other side following that same curve so that it still looks like it's got the flat side and then the other side. You can try some things where shifting the counter of the shape, like the cutout, over a little bit to exaggerate that straight edge, but here it's right in the center, and it's just not gonna happen. Gotta fix that D somehow. I think when you're trying to fit words to an overall shape like this, especially with lots of words, you're gonna get a much better result if you hand letter it. I know that may sound daunting and you want like a quick fix, but you're gonna get much better, much more interesting results. You can play with the baselines a little bit. You can start with a framework, keep it simple, and then just sort of draw it to fit that shapes and make sure none of these letters are getting warped quite a bit. I can't look at this and not want to fix it. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make this where I draw it, and then I'll make it 3D, and then I'll show you the side by side so you can see what I'm talking about here. All right, this wasn't all bad. I think the 3D effect was pretty rad. I don't even know what you did there. I'm not a Illustrator genie like this, but I think it's pretty cool. I like the heart shape. I'm gonna give this 5 out of 10. Now I feel like I'm being mean here. I'm not being mean. It's a tutorial, so you know, I want the kids to know that you gotta pay attention to those letter forms and that you can't just warp fonts to fit a shape and have it be a good situation. All right, let's do another one.
Start off by drawing a curvy shape, kind of like I did there, then choosing a word and seeing how many letters it had. Mine had 7, so I divided my shape into 7 sections using curvy lines like that. I ended up turning my paper around because it started with a D, and I thought it looked better like that. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna start drawing like the negative spaces of your letters and be as curvy as you can with your lines. The curvier, the groovier. Also, it doesn't matter if some of your letters are way thick, like my I ended up being really thick, but it's okay. It's gonna look good anyways, trust me. So what I did next is I took some scissors and I cut the paper to fit the shape that I did a little bit better.
Doing stuff in real life.
And then I decided to draw some like tripping looking plants to tie it all together. And there you have it. Groovy looking font thing.
Groovy looking font thing. I get it. I'm down with it. All right, so I think there's a lot of cool things happening here. I love the idea of taking a shape and then dividing it up for the letters. I mean, this is what I was talking about for the last one. Doing it this way allows you to fit the letters to the shape without a computer doing it for you. You gotta do it yourself sometimes. Also, right on paper here, love that. One thing I would say here, right off the bat, is we still have that same issue where one of the letters is becoming a different letter. So the N is an H now. And the problem is, there's a little bit of a difference between the two, an N and an H. You may think, oh, they're totally different letters, but we've got 2 sides, we got 2 posts, and then an N, you got a diagonal, and then an H in the middle. So when you got Destiny's Child whoopie letters, and then that middle part gets exaggerated, you wanna make sure that it's clear that it's the diagonal from the top to the bottom, and that it's not looking like just a little line across the middle to make an H. Now, it could be easily adjusted by just maybe angling them a little bit to make it clear that it's an N. Now, in terms of the letters being different thicknesses because of, you know, the little bit of willy-nilly nature of how this was divided, I agree. I think having some variation can make it more interesting and more visually dynamic, but it could be a lot easier if you do it intentionally so that some letters that which maybe require or look better with a little bit of space could have a little bit more space. For example, if we made that I spot a little skinnier, then that N could have a little bit more breathing room so we could really exaggerate the angle on the middle part so it doesn't read like Destahi. 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 Otherwise, super rad. Did it on paper, cutting stuff out, we're making patterns, 10 out of 10. Well, 9 because of the H thing. This one's called Faux Lettering Tutorial. I don't know what faux lettering is, but we're gonna find out.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a super simple way to spice up your lettering. So first, you are just going to write your word in cursive. The key here is that everything doesn't have to be on a straight line. So see where my H starts doesn't necessarily go in a straight line. So some letters are higher, some letters are lower. So then you're going to take the left side of your words and you're just going to make a line to make it a little thicker. I do it on the right side sometimes too. Always on the left though. So for every letter,
Sort of.
you are just going to add that. You can pretty much do however thick that you want to do. I'm gonna just do moderate. Then this cutesy little tail at the bottom.
Cute little tail.
You can add one there, and you can add one here.
Okay.
I just used a regular Sharpie marker, and that's all.
I love that she explained what the marker was, and I bet my life that there are people in the comments asking what kind of marker she's using, because people love to ask you about your brushes, or your pens, or your pencils, or papers. Like, that is the key to anything. This is just a straight up regular marker. You can tell by looking at it. Doesn't matter what she's using. Okay, so there was some good things in here. The idea of having a moving baseline, cool. I think that's fun. You can play around with that stuff. break the rules, no problem there. She said, what you need to know is that there's thicks and thins. And she said the thicks is always on the left side, sort of. There's things that can change there. For example, if you're doing a lowercase k, for example, or an h, if you will, we're gonna come up light and then down thick, and then up light and then down again thick. So that's thick on the left and the right side. So there's a reason for this. It's not just like always on the left, it's thicker. It's cursive is emulating script with a brush, and as an upstroke, it would be thin, and then as you're pushing down, it gets thick. So that's what you're emulating, that's what you're reproducing. It's not just like, oh, the lefts are thick and the rights are thin, because there's lots of letters where that's not the case. 5 out of 10. This is a nice little squiggly tail at the end. We got a hand-drawn lettering tutorial. You ready? I don't know if I'm ready. All right, good stuff here. I love the rough, super rough sketch process at the beginning. I love that they used baselines and guides and all kinds of stuff. They're basing things in structure, even though they're using a curved baseline, they're making a structure based on that. I noticed early on that the R was looking like an A, and then they went in and finessed that and fixed it, pushed the top counter of the R over a little bit to make it a little bit more like an R. It worked pretty well, but there was some quick vector tracing in there, and then there was a big step that happened from tracing the letters to all of a sudden it's colored, there's shading on it. What step was that? 9 out of 10 because maybe you skipped something. Good overall though. How I made this custom typography. All right, I'm drawing on a piece of paper with some rough lines. I guess we're tracing it in Illustrator. Seems like all this lettering is using the pen tool in Illustrator, which is interesting. Okay, so this is kind of cool. My concern here is a concern that has been prominent through this whole video, is that when you're pushing the shapes of letters, you gotta make sure they don't end up looking like another letter. Like this I is starting to look like a lowercase j because you got that other part coming all the way over. So it's looking like de jour. I don't know, the lettering is pretty cool, the style is pretty good. Let's watch one more, because I think he's gonna do some good things. Let's see what else he's got for us. Oh, we got some cool Photoshop effect here. Okay, so just using fonts here, which is okay. Doing some 3D effects. Not crazy about that script. The F is a little iffy, but it's not bad. It's not bad. We got photocopy texture, and then making it 3D. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, using the threshold to get it to black. Ooh, okay. This is super easy. Okay, yeah, I mean, those are some cool effects. 8 out of 10, not bad. I think that was a lot of fun. I don't know if I did as good of a job rating these tutorials as Sam Does Arts does.
I can't say anything bad about that. What a wholesome video.
But you know, he's been doing it for a long time. He's got lots of them on there. They're pretty entertaining. I suggest checking them out. If you like a little bit more realism, want to learn more about that kind of stuff, check out his videos.
Daddy, chill.
I think this has been a good talk. If this piqued your interest in lettering and you want to know more, and you want to dive a little bit deeper into hand lettering and how to stylize and how to do it right, I got some videos for you. I'm gonna just put this playlist here that you could just dive in and just binge through it, and you're gonna be pretty ready to just do some great lettering. I think you will. And then you'll be making your own TikTok tutorials, and then yeah, maybe I'll rate them. I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.